Bronson G3s versus the Bones Reds. This is a common debate among skateboarders, and today we'll be going over the main differences between the two, what each bearing is best for, and which one will be more durable and worth your money. I'm actually on a little road trip up to the Gold Coast from Sydney, so we've just stopped in at the first park of the trip here at Kendall Skate Park. So I'm going to chuck these Bronson G3s in my setup now, have a little warm up, get a first impression of these, and then I'll start going over the differences between both of these. That sucked, but at least my board didn't go in the water. But I still need to get a cleaner one, so let's try that again. That park was actually pretty fun. There's a lot more I want to do, but this is just the first stop in that trip, so I want to pace myself. I don't want to go too hard and then be ruined for the next 5-day trip of skating that I have. Plus, we have another 2 or 3 skate parks to hit today anyway, so I definitely need to pace myself through today. So first impressions of these are great. They felt worn in straight away. They're super smooth and quiet though. But I am at a really smooth skate park. It's freshly painted. It's actually pretty slippery, so they were always going to feel smooth. I need to test these through different skate parks as I go today, more rough ones. But I never felt like I was slowing down or losing my speed. It felt like my momentum kept going with me. So they're feeling really good so far. So I have done a full video on the Bones Red, so I won't go into too much depth on those today. I'll have that video linked at the end of this video. But Bones Reds are basically the industry standard in skateboarding. They're cheap, they're reliable, they last long, and they're really consistent. They're pretty much my go-to bearings, and they usually last me up to a year or even more. And that's with me popping the shields too. So all the dirt and gunk and everything gets into them, and I don't clean them. So they're long lasting with the way that I treat them. Now, Bronson's entry-level bearing is the Bronson G2s, which is probably more comparable to the Bones Reds, since they're both the entry-level bearings from both companies. But I have had bad experience with the Bones Super Reds, which are the upgraded versions of the Bones Reds. And when it comes to Bronson's, I never hear anything about the G2s. People are usually going for the G3s or the Raws. So this might be a bit of an unfair comparison, since on paper, the Bronson G3s are more superior than the Bones Reds, but the Bones Reds are just so reliable for such a low price, and they've done me so well throughout all of my years of skateboarding. So I think this is a worthy comparison, since the Bones Reds are most skateboarders' go-to bearings. So I think it's fair to put them up against the G3s. Now, the main thing that sets these Bronson G3s apart from the Bones Reds, and what's been upgraded from the G2s to the G3s, are the raceway channels inside and the bearing cage itself. So the raceway channel in these, where the ball bearings sit into, they sit deeper into the middle of it. So they're reinforced more, and there's not going to be any pressure or impact coming from the side or squashing it. They also have micro grooves in the raceways, so if the ball bearing is rolling continuously, the dirt and moisture and everything goes within these little channels, so it never stops the ball bearing from spinning, so it gets a consistent roll. Now, the cage design is created for maximum impact, and they have a non-distortion glass-filled nylon cage to keep the balls spread out and to oil them as they're rolling, so to keep them lubricated the whole time. The Bones Reds have a pretty basic bearing design, so they're not going to be as durable or good with impact, but they are going to be a lot easier to clean since there isn't as much going on inside of the bearing. The G3s will be a little harder to clean because there's a lot more going on inside of the bearing, but they are more sealed off, so they're going to get less dirty than Reds would anyway. It's hard for them to get dirt into them, so they're going to be more protected and won't need to be cleaned as often. Now I'll go over the performance differences of both bearings and the determining factor that might help you decide which bearings you're going to pay for soon. But we are on a road trip. We're trying to get up to Coffs Harbour soon, so we're going to hop back in the van, hit the road, and then I'm going to skate the next few parks and then go over the performance differences. So let's go hit the road. We just got to the next park after going to our caravan spot, having a quick swim, but the sun's just dipped behind the mountain there, so we probably only have about 30 minutes of skating before it's completely dark. So let's try and get a quick session in here, then we're going to the main Coffs Harbour skate park to continue skating there tonight. That'll do. Next park. Getting there, but I want to come off a little bit cleaner. Bit of an angle change, so you can see how long this thing actually is. It's the best one so far. So glad I got that, but I'll keep trying it while Guy is. Try and go fakie. That one felt good. Alright, on to the next curb. I ended up skating way too much on day one of the trip and skated pretty much till almost lights out at that Coffs Harbour skate park, trying to do those slappy board slides and stuff. So totally forgot to continue talking about these bearings versus the Reds. But this is 2 days later. I'm on day 3 of my trip. Yesterday we got up into the Gold Coast. We skated the Courtside DIY skate park and then went to Pizzy's Park skate park last night. Today we're back at the Courtside DIY skate park before we start making our way back down towards Byron. But I've had a full 2 days of skating these these Bronson G3s, so I know the performance differences now between these and the Reds. So the G3s are faster because of their friction reduction design and the oils that they use when they're lubricating them. Reds are smooth and consistent and pretty durable for the low price, but they're not going to be good under impact or last anywhere near as long as the G3s. So I would say the Bronson G3s are best for street skating and where you're taking impact or going really fast, like bobbing down hills or skating lines and stuff. They're going to be great for skating parks and for vert skating, but they'll be a bit of an overkill for a beginner or someone that's just cruising around on a skateboard. These are pretty much high performance bearings and aren't necessary for your average beginner skateboarder. Reds will also be great for skate parks and skating vert. They're smooth, consistent, they're going to be reliable. Not so great for street skating, taking impact, or for high friction circumstances like hill bombing and stuff like that where you're going to go really fast. But the biggest determining factor for most of you guys watching this video is going to be the price point. So these Bronson G3s cost $60 Australian. Bones Reds are $35 Australian, which is almost half the price. Yes, these are going to be a higher performance bearing and last longer and be more durable under impact and higher friction, but not everyone's going to need a bearing like that. They'll be plenty happy with the Bones Reds. Even myself, they're super reliable. That's my go-to bearing that I usually choose. They last me for a year or more, and I pop the shields off and don't clean them. So now that you guys know the main differences between the Bronson G3s and the Bones Reds, the most go-to skateboard bearing from both companies, which one do you think you will choose? Which one do you think is going to be worth your money more? And which of the two seem like a better bearing to you? They're both great. They're both on different sides of the price points, and they're both going to perform differently depending on what type of skateboarding you do. So hopefully this video makes it clear which one you should be choosing. But it's basically going to be the G3s are better for high-end performance like street skating and longevity. Bones Reds will give you a solid performance at a lower price, not so durable, but still really a great reliable bearing. If you want to get a deeper look and learn more about the actual Bones Reds bearings themselves, then check out this video right here.